No. No. I said no. No! Because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save Rose Tyler from the middle of a Dalek fleet. And then I'm going to save the Earth. And then, just to finish off, I'm going to wipe every last stinking Dalek out of the sky. Yeah, doesn't that scare you to death? Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about the two-parter, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Waves, written by Russell T Davies and is directed by Joel Ahern. God, if only we could wish to be half as good as you. This story is the conclusion to Series 1 of the new series of Doctor Who. And this was, when it came out, this was event television. This is the first time I got so invested in something, so gripped by television. Like, this was something that everyone was talking about. You could not escape it. Like it or hate it, this was here to stay. And they had this massive, build up. I also remember, I can't find it anymore, but I also remember they had a countdown just before the episode, before Parting of the Waves started. And this was all leading up to the conclusion, the final segment. This also pays off a lot of story elements that has been building up throughout the series, something which is sort of like a first for Doctor Who. We have had story arcs in the past with The Key to Time and The Trial of the Time Lord, but this is the first time it's really been effective, if we're going to be honest. It sees the return of the Daleks making their appearance again since Dalek. And annoyingly, the story sets it up as the Daleks being this massive tease, like the twist, the build-up is to the Daleks. However, huge criticism with not really with the stories, but with how these stories are presented to us. The Daleks were shown in the Next Time trailer in Boomtown, ruining any surprise that they had in this story, although there is a surprise still yet to come, and that would be, which we'll get on to in a bit. This also just so happens to be Christopher Eccleston's final appearance as the 9th incarnation of the Doctor on television screens. Now, the reason why he left was due to him not getting along with people, him having his own personal issues. As he would go on to talk about years down the line, he was suffering through mental health issues and anorexia, and didn't like his body image, and as well he just didn't get along with some of the cast and crew, and he felt that one season was enough. And annoyingly, the BBC kind of betrayed him, because on their news and reports and stuff, they announced that he was leaving because he was tired, something which reporters shouldn't say unless there's absolute good reason to say so, because it means that people who are looking at him for a job might go, oh, he left this role because he was tired. He might get tired of us. He's not reliable then, so we are going to not cast him, which basically blacklisted Christopher Eccleston for a few years. That's why we hadn't seen him in much things after this. And yeah, that is a crying shame, and Christopher Eccleston has every reason to be annoyed with the BBC, and again, he has every right to hate the show. So the fact he came back for Big Finish Productions to play the Ninth Doctor again is just something that blows my head. And it's something that I'm so grateful for him for doing. I mean, it's not BBC, but it's still connected in a sense with the Doctor and Doctor Who. You know, if you get me, you get me. So that's basically the lead up to the story. There's just so much to unpack here. There's just so much to enjoy. I'm just going to spoil it out here. This is probably one of my favourite, this is easily my favourite of all of the final episodes of any Doctor, my favourite regeneration story. This story is perfect. If I was going to rate episodes, this would be a 10 out of 10. Something which I can say for actually a handful of episodes in Series 1, with Dalek, with Father's Day, with The Unquiet Dead, you know, The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. Just how this one series gets so many good stories, I just honestly don't understand. But anyway, this is the official vanilla DVD cover. You can clearly see, like, there was no advertising for Boomtown, which is also included. They wanted to show off the Daleks, and the Daleks get showed off. Yeah, it's really cool. And like always, I printed out my own DVD cover to match it with the rest of the boxes. So let's put these together, shall we? 1, 2, 3. There you go. So this is what it looks like on my DVD shelf. Really cool. This is by Christopher Doctor Who DVDs, who does some fantastic work with these covers. Just look at that. That's just absolutely stunning. Sorry about that. Here's the spine, if anyone's interested. Very nice. And here's the back. Also, like I've said, like I've included, also includes the episode Boomtown, because, you know, it's not connected to the story, but it's still on the desk, which is really annoying me, because I like to have them like nice on the shelf, but I have to like have it so that despite it having actually 2 stories, it actually says it only owns 1. So I'm just rambling on now, so let's get into the story at hand. So the Doctor starts off being absolutely traumatized as he finds himself in a small little room and gets out pretty quickly and finds that he's in the Big Brother house. This might be commonplace for people like my age and stuff, but for younger audience viewers, Big Brother was this show that used to appear on Channel 4, in which they get a handful of people, sometimes celebrities, and basically lock them in a really fancy house, make them do small tasks, and then like once a week one of them gets eliminated by the viewing public, who vote for who they want to get out, and then they leave. They have this interview, and it was a game show in a way. And it was massively popular back in 2005, and now I don't even know if it's around anymore, but it's hardly entertainment. I used to hate Big Brother when it came out, but watching this story reminds me of how much I used to hate Big Brother. The idea of Big Brother actually came from a novel by Orson Welles, known as 1984, which showed this dystopian world in which this dictator ruler known as Big Brother basically makes people do horrible things, and if they do something wrong, they get punished for it. And you know, it's like a typical like sci-fi adventure. It's really good. Highly recommend it if you haven't read or seen any of the films adaptation. One of them with John Hurt. But anyway, and the story, like this is like the pre-credit sequence of Doctor basically figuring out, working around that he's actually in the Big Brother house, and he gets invited to go into the chair room, which was a natural standard for the show. And then it says, "You're on channel 5000, please do not swear." You've got to be kidding me. Which leads into the intro. That is a hilarious way to open an intro for someone who understands the reference. And that's one of the issues with this story, as Rose finds herself in the weakest link with the android, with Anne Robinson being replaced with an android, and Jack finds himself on this like beauty show with the different clothing and stuff. I don't know what show that's supposed to be imitating, but the show, this episode, it references a lot of stuff that was in popular culture at the time, which means that this story, in terms of the way it's aged, with those segments, hasn't gone too well down. And I feel like if you're a newcomer to it now, if you're going, right, I'm going to watch back these episodes and see what they're like and stuff, and you don't know what Big Brother or Weakest Link or any of these game shows are, then you might be a bit, huh? What? Eh? I don't understand it. It's just this, it seems really cheesy and campy all of a sudden. The story that's supposed to take itself extremely seriously. And it, to be honest, it was pretty silly back in the time. And I remember watching this at the start of it, and I was like, right, I'm enjoying it, I'm having fun. Russell T Davies is clearly enjoying writing these scenes, but if it doesn't do anything with this premise, I'm going to hate this story, because it just means that it's Doctor Who meets Big Brother, and I hate Big Brother. I absolutely couldn't stand the show, personally. And Big Brother used to be like everywhere. Everyone used to talk about it. But luckily, this story does take something with it, as in a way it does kind of bring back the dystopia feeling of 1984, something which the actual show Big Brother, obviously, for obvious reasons, couldn't actually do. As it turns out, these game shows are to die for, as Rose is playing The Weakest Link, and one of the characters gets voted out, and suddenly she gets evaporated, she dies, she gets zapped to death into a puddle of dust on the floor. And that's where the tone suddenly takes seriously from Rose's perspective. What I absolutely love about this is that when we cut back to the Doctor, he obviously doesn't know about this. He just thinks that he's just caught up in the Big Brother house, and he's just fed up, and his reactions of just, he's already fed up. He wants to get out as soon as possible, and everybody else is like so invested, and the Doctor's just clearly fed up, and he doesn't understand why they're making such a fuss, like in the real Big Brother house. You know, it's so clearly like put on in a sense, until it clicks after he watches this woman who's been voted out, that she's going to be electrocuted, vaporized to death. And the Doctor witnesses, is like, what the hell was that? And so he makes it his mission to break out. In the Big Brother house, he befriends this young lady named Linda with a Y, not Linda with an I. Linda with an I was voted out in the first week. I really love the dynamic between the Doctor and Linda with a Y. They start off, the Doctor kind of is annoyed with her because, you know, she's getting caught up in all of this Big Brother stuff. And then he slowly gets, they slowly start having a bond. There's a great moment in which he's like, I know we're not supposed to talk about the outside world, but do they like me? And the Doctor, obviously not knowing the outside world, still understands human emotion and actually tries to comfort her and says, yeah, you're nice and sweet, until then he discovers about the death, the people dying in these games, and so he gets really like annoyed at her. He gets absolutely angry, and so he basically breaks the camera, meaning that he is automatically evicted out. And he's basically thrilled. He's so excited. I love that scene when he's like, when it says, Doctor, we're coming to get you. And he's just really smiling. He's like, yes. And he's like, come on, no rush. And he opens the door and he's looking up. He's waiting there. He's just smiling to himself. And the countdown goes, and then 0. And he doesn't die, as he laughs to himself. It's like, ha-ha, I knew it. If these people wanted me dead, they would have just teleported me to a volcano. They had this mass amount of teleportation power that actually broke into the TARDIS, which is how they transported all of these, all of our main characters into this world. And there's just this absolutely beautiful moment. One of Jonah Hurt's fantastic directed, and Christopher Eccleston's just one of his sweetest performances, in my opinion, as he looks back and he sees that Linda is looking at him through the doorway, and it's like, you stay here, you have 50-50 chance of surviving. You come with me, and I promise you'll make it out alive. And then he says something like, Linda, you're sweet. From this world that I've seen, do you think anybody votes for sweet? And then, in probably one of the most iconic images of the Christopher Eccleston era, he just puts his hand up towards her in such an innocent gesture, as if you look at him and you put your faith in this man. This is someone who will fight for you, who will do anything to keep you safe. And so Linda, understandably, takes up his offer and leaves, being one of the few people ever to leave the Big Brother house in this world, in this future. A future which the Doctor is familiar with, as he goes into the rooms that connect to all the other rooms, and it's familiar to him. Hang on, I recognise this place. This is Satellite 5, which is a one connection to our previous adventures. This builds up upon the long game, a story midway into the series. It's here that's described by Linda that 100 years ago, during the events of the long game, after the Doctor defeated the Jagrafetch, news channels just stopped, and humanity didn't know what to do with itself. The government fell, the economy fell, everyone was just left in misery and despair. We imagine that the Doctor Who universe, the Doctor leaves the places better than he found them, which I believe for the most part it's true, but here proves that this story, it proves that that's not always the case. Sometimes he leaves it in a worse situation. And humanity has become this disgusting thing that only watches now, these reality shows in which people die on like a daily basis. People get murdered so casualty that, it's pretty messed up. In that sense, this story reminds me a lot of Vengeance on Varos, which tackles the political element of this story, as the humans in this story have made themselves so vulnerable, so easy for invasion from the enemy of this adventure, that all they can do really is just watch basically themselves being murdered and keep themselves entertained. They basically just ignore the rest of the world just so they can keep themselves entertained, and without fighting for freedom, without fighting for more. And that's something the story tackles greatly. I'll get on a little bit when Rose goes back to Earth, but that element of the story really does hold up. Something, again, like Long Game, like Aliens of London and World War III. It's a political message which I felt like at the time might have not meant something, but now it's more relevant than ever, and it's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. It's pretty messed up. I love the Doctor's reaction to this, how that this world has been so corrupted and stuff, and he's kind of to blame. He did this to the world. The Doctor thought that, the great and bountiful human empire would start kicking off, but instead the world was left in absolute misery. And the Doctor kind of clicks that there's somebody who's been playing this massive long game, who actually installed Jagrafetch to halt humanity, and now they're halting again with this game station. And the Doctor and Rose figure out at the same time. Rose hears it, and Linda, in my opinion, has the better reveal, in which the doctor asks who's running the game station, and Linda's like, hold on, sets up some lights and shows this massive sign on the wall, the Bad Wolf Corporation.